Hi, everybody. It's been a while. Life got a little busy for me, and unfortunately, my Kriya yoga teaching kind of had to take a little bit of a backseat there for a little bit. But God has blessed me with a little unexpected time off here, which is a wonderful thing. And I'm going to use that time to get some new students up and on the ground, as well as I have a long list of videos that I've been wanting to record which I can start recording. And I also have a outline for a Hatha Yoga Pranayama course, which I will be recording, which will take you from the novice stages all the way through the advanced stages of Hatha Yoga Pranayama. The advanced stages are very hard to find. You don't find them online very often. So I think that this will be a very valuable course that a lot of people will get a lot out of. But today, that is not what we're here to talk about. Today, we're here to talk about where to begin with yogic meditation. Um, Yogic meditation is very different in a lot of ways from the more Buddhist passive meditation styles. Yoga is very active, utilizes things like postures, uh, things like breath control, as levers to kind of speed the process of meditation up. Whereas Buddhist meditation, generally speaking, not all forms of meditation, Buddhist meditation, but at least the popular ones these days, like mindfulness, they're very passive. It's things like just sitting there and just watching your breath. And those are very effective forms of meditation as well. But they don't tend to work so well with householders in our current society. We're in a very fast-paced society, and to be able to get really deep into deep levels of meditation, absorption, samadhi, whatever you want to call it, with the passive forms of meditation, it can take hours, hours each day. And most people just don't have that, you know. So, what I'm going to share with you today is basically the 80-20 rule of yogic meditation, right? The 80-20 rule, if you're not familiar, it says that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. What I'm going to teach you here, will take you anywhere from, you know, maybe 15 minutes a day up to at most a half an hour. Yet you'll get 80% of the benefits. And yes, that's 80% of the benefits that you'd get even from Kriya Yoga. Another nice thing about this is not everybody's meant for Kriya Yoga, right? Kriya Yoga is, very, very spiritually oriented people is really what it's meant for. And not everybody wants that. Most people don't want that, to be honest with you. If my aunt came to me asking me about, meditation, to feel better and be more productive and less stressed out in her daily life, I would not be recommending Kriya Yoga. This right here I'm going to teach you today is exactly what I would give them. This is for the general public. At the same time, for people that do practice Kriya Yoga or want to practice Kriya Yoga, this is either a wonderful side practice that can help train you to be better at Kriya, or, this right here, what I'm going to give you is exactly what I give to my students when they contact me the first time. Usually they'll contact me by email. We'll set up a call. We'll sit down and we'll talk, a little bit about them, a little bit about me, that kind of thing. And if they want to move forward with initiation, this is what I give them to practice leading up to that initiation. I feel like it sets them up for success. So having this recorded here also will help me. It's a tool for me to teach them. So, another thing about yogic meditation that I think is helpful is that yogic meditation routines tend to be broken up into stages. You don't just sit and do one thing the whole time. There's stages. You'll do one thing, then you'll do another, then you'll do another. In this case, there's three phases to what I'm going to teach today, right? So your 15 to 20-minute session is not going to be just 15-20 minutes of doing the same one thing. You will be doing three different things, right? In three different phases, and they're ordered in a specific way that, the first practice warms you up for the second practice, which warms you up for the third practice. So by the time you get to the third practice, which is more of like a traditional meditation style, you'll be able to go deep really quickly, really easily. Your body will be and your mind will be in a nice, relaxed, clear state. So the first thing that we're going to learn here, which anybody who's familiar with my teacher, Forrest Knudsen, is going to be very familiar with this. It's heart rate resonance breathing. And the whole idea behind heart rate resonant breathing is basically intentionally stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system to create what's called a relaxation response in the body. The Basically you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is like the fight or flight, the high stress side of the nervous system. And then the parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of the relaxed rest and digest form of part of the central nervous system. So what we're doing here is basically trying to really, really super stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system and really get the body to relax. This is very important for people today because we live in such a high stress society. Um, Society, our jobs, our families, they ask a lot of us, and this helps really to kind of ground and relax. Now, HRV breathing is very easy to do. I'm going to give kind of just a quick overview here and a quick instruction set. If you want to really dig deep into it, you can go to Forrest's YouTube, and he probably has 50 videos about this, to be honest. So I don't want to beat the dead horse too much here. But the basic idea here is to take the breath, to breathe deeply, to take the breath at least to 7 breaths per minute or lower, to make sure that the exhale is a little bit longer than the inhale. This is important because the exhale is what stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. That is kind of the magic behind this. And the third thing is to remove the pauses. So after your inhale and after your exhale, you don't pause. And the idea is just to breathe deep, slow, and relaxed. Okay. I'm going to give you a couple of tips here because there are 2 things that I see very commonly. I see my students doing wrong here. And I want to make sure that those are clear. The first is you do want to primarily breathe from the abdomen. Okay. That doesn't mean you want to avoid the chest. So you want to sit up straight. And on the inhale, you want to breathe and expand the abdomen out. And on exhale, you want to bring the abdomen in. And this is key, the bringing the abdomen in on the exhale, because one of the biggest issues that I find with people is they're not taking a full breath because they're not doing a full exhale. So bring that abdomen all the way in and all the way out. Now, the second thing is, you don't want to avoid the chest, right? You just want to not breathe primarily into the chest. You want to breathe and you'll fill the abdomen. And once the abdomen's full, the chest will naturally inflate some. But you don't want to overinflate the chest. You don't want to be stuffing air in. You don't want to be moving. As Forrest likes to say, you want to sit very still, SVS. So you don't want to get to a point where you're breathing into the point where you're kind of like lifting the shoulders, lifting your clavicles here. You don't want to be doing that. You want to just kind of fill up whatever's natural here. So in all reality, if you had like what is 100% of the breath that you could possibly take, like if you really stuffed everything in there, you're only going to be taking actually probably about 90% of that. Think 85 to 90%, so you don't want to be stuffing, at the top. You want this to be relaxed. So I'll just kind of demonstrate a breath here. Notice on the inhale, you'll see my chest go up a little bit, but my clavicles, my shoulders will remain relaxed. I'll kind of use my hand over here because you won't know when I'm inhaling or exhaling without it. So see the chest? Exhale from chest first. And pulling my abdomen in. So one thing to keep in mind with this as well is that the lower the breath rate, the better. However, you want to remain within comfort. Most people are going to start off somewhere in like the 5 to 7 breaths per minute range. And then, you can go as low as you can get it, over time, but slowly go down. One thing I do want to make you all aware of, because I think that this is actually what I would have most people start with, is there is an app that Forrest released called Resonant Breathing. And I will link below to both the iPhone and the Android. This is a free app. I would recommend you see on the bottom the 40-60. That is where I would set it. That is so 40% of your inhale, 40% of your breath being an inhale and 60% being an exhale. And then the breath rate, start at like 7 or 6. And how I would tend to progress this over time is like every like 2 weeks, maybe take a half of a breath off. And keep doing that as long as you're remaining comfortable. Over time, your body will adjust and it will get easier and easier and easier. Before you know it, you'll be doing, 1, 2 breaths per minute somewhere in there, and you'll be perfectly comfortable and it'll be great. Trust me, it gets really amazing when you start getting down onto the lower ones. But you have to remain in comfort. You don't want to wind up feeling stressed or needing for air at all. Um, so yeah, that is kind of heart rate variability breathing in a nutshell. You can use the app. I wouldn't stick to the app forever though. Eventually the idea is to be able to learn how to do this on your own without the app, without any external cues or anything. But for the first 3, 4 months, whatever, go ahead and use that app. And it's a great, great, very valuable tool, and it's free, so you can't go wrong with that. So that is our first phase. Our second phase is going to be a breath hold, and we're going to do this one time. You go ahead and take a breath in. Once again, just like the HRV, you want it to be a full breath, mostly abdomen, without stuffing in too much. Because if you stuff in too much, the breath hold is going to wind up feeling you'll feel some strain in your throat. It's not going to be comfortable. You feel like you're having to like pinch in your throat to stop yourself from exhaling. You don't want to be in that. You want this breath hail to be very relaxing. So you'll take your breath in. It doesn't have to be as slow as an HRV breath. It can be a quick breath in, and then you just want to relax into the breath hold, and that's key. Okay, is just to kind of relax and just melt away into it. You want to remain comfortable the whole time. Hold as long as you can within comfort. Over time, your CO2 tolerance will increase, and this will increase. You might start off at 20 seconds. Before you know it, you'll be doing a minute, minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes or more. Is not out of the realm of possibility here. But remain in comfort. Don't hold until you start to feel stressed. Then on the exhale, you will do a sigh. Okay, and when you sigh, you want to just really kind of relax the body down into it. Just collapse into that sigh. I'm going to do a quick demonstration. I'm not going to hold the breath for very long, just because it's a waste of time. It's not very entertaining for you. So I'll take the quick inhale, relax. Notice how in that exhale, my body just kind of collapsed into it. I just let myself just in that sigh. That's exactly what you want, is just to really relax into it. The key to a long breath hold is to relax. So when you're in that breath hold, just focus on really physically, mentally relaxing and just melt into the breath hold. And that's it for the second phase. We'll do that just one time. And then we'll go into the third phase, which is more of a passive meditation. Now, you went from stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system with the HRV breathing into this breath hold, which is really going to be even more relaxing. This is kind of like, a relaxation turbocharger here. Then we're finally going into this meditation. So by the time we get into this meditation, the body and the mind should be very calm, very clear. You release all breath control and just breathe normally. And what you're going to do here, I call this non-dual meditation. You're basically going to observe all of your senses, okay, equally. You don't want to place any preference on any sensation. You don't want to, or any sense. You don't want to resist any sense either. You just want to observe everything equally without any judgment. You basically just want to be a passive observer where you kind of meld in the background and just observe all of these sensations. Okay. So that's the high level. I'll get into a couple more like technical cues that should kind of help you out here. This can be done either with eyes open or eyes closed. It doesn't matter. Either way, you want to take your peripheral vision and expand it out as wide as you can, and also look forward. You want to take in the full range that you can view, and you don't want to focus down on any one thing. Okay, you want to just observe everything equally. Okay, it can be a lot. We're used to like focusing things down, right? Taking in everything can feel very, very hard at first, but this is the idea is we're going to really push the capacity of the brain by trying to observe everything equally, and it's going to quiet the brain and bring you into a very, very deep state of being an observer. So you'll open up that. You also want to open up your hearing, and you want to listen to all sounds equally, whether those are sounds internally or whether they're externally. This is a meditation that can be practiced anywhere. You can practice this in a busy airport. You can practice this in a rock concert. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as distraction with this meditation because any sound, anything you see is all just a part of your meditation, right? You also want to do the same thing for all of your sensations. It means you'll feel yourself breathing. If you feel any warm or cold sensations in the body, any tingling, any feelings of pleasure or of pain or itching or whatever, you just want to passively observe them. Don't focus on any one thing. Focus on everything at once. Same thing with smells and tastes, all five sensations. Just open your awareness equally to all of them. Observe them all equally. Don't show any preference. Don't show any pushing away of any of those or any resistance. Just take it all in and try and observe it all at one time. Okay? If you have thoughts pop up in your head, that's okay. Let thoughts, once again, just like any other sensation, let them exist. Don't show preference to them. Don't resist them. Just let them exist. You'll find it if you're doing it properly and observing all five senses to the best of your ability, you're going to find it very hard to have any brain capacity left over to think. But sometimes maybe some thoughts come in the background and just let them exist in the background. Don't give any energy to them. Don't don't favor them over anything else. Also, don't resist them and try and push them away. Just let them exist in the background, just like and observe them, just like you observe everything else. Okay. So that's the third phase, right? Is the non-dual meditation. So we've got our three phases. How practically I recommend practicing this is I would sit down and I would do 10 to maybe 20 minutes of the HRV breathing. Okay. I would do one breath hold, and then I would do anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes of the non-dual meditation. If you ever start feeling anxious, like you need to get up, if your brain starts becoming too active, if the meditation stops feeling blissful, just get up. We don't want to build habits of sitting down and you know baking in misery. So anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes is fine. Short but sweet. We're using these tools at first, the HRV breathing, the breath hold, to set the table for this meditation for it to be deep. We want it to be deep, and we want to sit there and be as deep and absorbed as we can into everything. But if we come out of that naturally, go ahead and get up. And we don't want this to be long. This is meant to be a householder practice, 80-20 rule. So, no more than 10 minutes in this part. So if you're doing 10 minutes on the HRV, a breath hold, and then this, you're talking, anywhere from 15 minutes to 22, 23 minutes, something like that. Potentially maybe adding another 10 minutes on the HRV, if you want to go up to 20 minutes. So this really shouldn't take any more than maybe 30 minutes at most. You can practice this once to twice a day. And yeah, this will give you the physical and mental benefits, 80% of what you're going to get from meditation, 80% of, what I would get from, my usual 1 to 2 hour meditation sessions, you're going to get in this quick practice right here. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful practice. And, I hope that it works well for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And yeah, it's good to be back. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.